Okay, I think we can get started. Welcome one and all. Really good to see all of you. My name is John Ochsendorf. I'm a faculty member in civil and environmental engineering and also architecture, and I'm the founding director of the Morningside Academy for Design, which is offering fellowships across all of MIT for graduate students who are working in design and in any discipline. And so tonight we're going to give you a brief overview of the process, leave plenty of time for Q&A, and we're recording this also if you want to go back. So please do mute yourselves, and I'll ask our MAD colleagues to introduce themselves, and I'll pass it to you, Marion.
Hello, my name is Marion Cunningham. I am the Associate Director for Administration, and I am delighted to see all of you. And I'm going to turn it over to, I'm going to stop and introduce my colleague, Adelaide Zollinger. She is our Director of Communications. Thank you for being here and monitoring the chat for us, Adelaide. And now I'll turn it over to Maria.
Thank you, Marion. Thank you, Marion and John and Adelaide. I'm Maria Yang. I'm a professor in mechanical engineering, and I'm the associate director for MAD. And I will sort of just do a quick introduction on just what MAD is. And I think we are getting some slides shared. Yes, great. If we think, so MAD is stands for the Morningside Academy for Design, and we just wanted to share a little bit of context on how MAD got started. Deep in the time of COVID in 2020, Dean Hashim Sarkis of the School of Architecture and Planning and Dean Anantha Chandrakasan of the School of Engineering tasked a faculty committee, and you see the photos here. They're across all of MIT in different departments and all 5 schools, and plus the School of Computing. We really wanted to think about all the different ways that MIT could be a design leader in service to the Institute and to the world. And this is partially in recognition of that how much design is important to MIT students, especially tools and strategies, and using those design tools and strategies to address important societal issues across a lot of different fields. Next slide, please. We were very fortunate to have a transformational gift to support this. The photo here shows Gerald Chan, who leads the philanthropic arm called the Morningside Foundation of his family foundation. The family foundation also funded the T.H. Chan School of Public Health at Harvard. He recognized the value of design, and especially around social impact and the way MIT students can sort of impact the world. So part of this gift includes an amount of money that is for an endowment towards graduate fellowships, which supports the Morningside Fellows, the MAD Fellows. And I'll pass things along back to Marion.
Thank you. I'm sure you're all interested in learning more about the fellowship, so I'm going to jump right into it. The fellowship is for current graduate students who are pursuing either a master's or a PhD, and they are engaged in work that is centered on design. The essential question that your work should be asking, or that you should be asking about your work, is who will benefit from my work and how? I mean, if you're working with oyster reefs, are you doing this because you're concerned about sustainability and the environment, and therefore humanity will benefit from your work? Are you working with developing computational models for developing instrumentation, and as a result, things will be employed using better designed equipment that will help meet the needs of society? Who is the ultimate beneficiary of the work that you're doing with your design efforts? There are essentially 2 elements to the application. The first is the faculty nomination. Each faculty member can nominate 1 person. Their letter of recommendation should be no longer than 2 pages. And you can have more than 1 person nominate you, but again, Each faculty nominator can only nominate one person. The second element of the application has to do with what you submit. You provide a CV or resume indicating your current degree program, and also a statement of interest where you talk about your area of research, your research methods, the questions that you're posing, the impact that your research will have on society or on design research in general, and how your graduate program includes design. I should mention that the people who are eligible to apply are those who are currently enrolled in graduate programs and who will be in residence next year when the fellowship itself will be offered. The applications are reviewed by the MAD directors and by MIT faculty members from all 5 schools and the college. So we have a wide range of people who are reviewing each application, and they're asking a similar set of questions. What's the clarity of the project goals that are being articulated? What's the academic quality of the person who submitted their application? Is there an interesting perspective on design? Do we have a diversity of perspectives? What is the creativity and breadth of the experience that's being offered? I should pause here and say that we're looking at these criteria as they apply to the application, and also as they apply to the cohort in general. And finally, what's the potential impact of the fellowship on the person professionally and personally? Will the fellowship allow you to explore areas that will deepen your understanding of your research topic? Will they allow you to have greater freedom as it relates to the work that you're doing? What's the potential impact on you personally? And then what are the benefits of the fellowship? And I should pause here and say that this is a full tuition fellowship. There is no employment obligation, so it's not a TA or an RA. You receive a monthly stipend. For the current year, it's $4,088, and for next year, it will be increased to $4,232 a month. You receive health insurance for the academic year. There's a scholarly allowance that's for the professional development of the student, of the fellow. And when I say professional development, I mean, this is a fund that's really administered by your nominator, but it allows you to go to conferences, to travel, to submit papers that are relevant, and also to explore maybe some research area that you can explore in greater depth. And finally, we require a weekly lunch where you meet with other fellows, and we try to establish a community of fellows. We bring speakers to the lunch, we learn about the work of one another, and it's really an opportunity to create fellowship. And now I'm going to turn it over to John, who's going to talk about the key dates and also about the nature of our cohorts. John?
Great. Thank you, Marion. So the call for applications is open now, and the applications are due in a little over a month on the 16th of January. One small tip is that because each faculty member can only nominate one person, that you might, if you don't have an obvious faculty member, you might try to find that person in the next few weeks before the end of this semester, so you're not hitting them up on January 14th for a letter. And also, if you're in a lab and your faculty member may have multiple people they want to nominate, we're partly having a kind of pre-selection that each faculty member, determine who fits. And so we would really encourage you to start that conversation early with your advisor or with a potential faculty nominator. And we're generally not in the business of helping you find nominators, so we hope you can do that. And that letter is important. So hopefully it is someone who knows you reasonably well. Our goal is to announce the fellowship winners by mid-March. And we're really looking and expecting that you're already planning to be here next year. So if you are graduating this year and then you're trying to use this for, to fund another degree for next year, it's not as compelling as if you're definitely going to be here next year, and then this helps to support you. So that's just another, we're looking for people who have a degree program that this already fits within, not trying to extend time here. And then we will have an event in May where we present the new cohort of fellows, and then the fellowship would formally begin in August for next academic year. And again, there's more information online at our website, design.mit.edu. So I'll just briefly share that our first cohort of fellows who were last academic year were 13 fellows across a range of different departments. And maybe one thing that really stood out for all of them is each of them was working on an important and pressing issue. It may have been harder to find funding. And also they could rise outside of their discipline and speak broadly across disciplines and about the potential power of design as a methodology. So many of them have a design background already, but not all. So, if you have a strong design background and you have a portfolio or other design projects you've worked on, whether in industry or academia, feel free to include those or a link to those. But one thing that our fellows have in common is they often are designers who can speak across disciplines. And then for this current year, the same holds true. Designers who can speak across disciplines. We have 11 fellows, and they're primarily from architecture and planning, engineering, and Sloan. That's where most of the applications and the fellowship winners have gone. But we certainly encourage applications from the School of Science or Humanities, Arts, and Social Sciences, as well as the College of Computing. So that gives you a sense of the current cohort. If you know any of those folks, feel free to reach out to them as well. Some of them are graduating or they're working on theses, so they're pretty busy. And we're going to open it up to questions in a moment. Feel free to put them in the chat or raise your hand and we can call on you. And I would just like to say that the desire to give fellowships like this to support graduate students who are working using design as a means of carrying out their work or a means of having impact in the world was very important for me personally, because I lived on campus for 7 years as a head of house in a first-year graduate dormitory, and I saw how funding uncertainty was a huge challenge for many students. And so we intentionally structured these as fellowships to essentially give you the freedom to pursue your passion, to work on topics that you want to work on. So hopefully that comes across in the spirit of the fellowship. And now we're happy to open the floor to questions. So please raise your hand. And Ocean, you're first out of the gate, so please.
Thanks, John. Good to see you. My question is just about that graduation timing aspect you mentioned. I'm in the Center for Real Estate, and I'll be technically finished with my coursework requirements and thesis by the end of next fall semester, so basically a year from now, which means I don't have any coursework requirements for the spring, but I believe my degree is not conferred until the end of the spring term anyway. So I'm just wondering how you would frame that.
Yeah, so as always, there are exceptions to the rule, and with you going halfway through the next year, I think we would expect in your application for you to make a compelling case why this fellowship would be important for you to stay and what you would actually do for the second half of the year. So if you would stay and take more courses, or if you would leave MIT after the fall semester. I don't know if Maria or Marion, but that's a hot take on it. Just explain in your application what you would do, because you do fall in between the clear black and white criteria.
Clara? I think you're on mute, Clara.
Or she's unmuted.
Just kidding. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, I'm Clara. I'm in the technology policy program. I'm also in Aeroastro. My question was, obviously the definition of design can be very broad, and I really wanted to ask if the types of people you were seeking with this fellowship are people who physically design products, or can it be more abstract? For example, designing political strategy, designing a bill for Congress. Would that count as design?
We could all give a slightly different answer, but Maria, would you like to take this one?
Thanks, Sean. So I think we purposely left it open, not divine. So I don't think there's a hard and fast nope, can't design a political system. So, but it's kind of up to you to make the case that it's sort of the design aspect of it. I think that's the key. Mm-hmm. We're certainly open.
Okay, thank you.
Marion.
I was just going to say, Colin, did you already ask your question, or
maybe if I could quickly add to Clara's question, I don't think it's just products. It's definitely not just a physical product. It could be many other things. We've had people working in civic design. We'd have people working in Yeah, many design at many different scales and a range of sectors and arenas. So it's definitely not just a physical product. And you could talk to our AeroAstro design fellow this year, who is Allison Porter.
As well as Mariama Ndiaye from the 2022 fellowship year. She designs for governance.
And
Yes, Colin, please.
Hi, my name is Colin Goldbach. I'm a third year in mechanical engineering. And I was wondering, with respect to the personal essay, what degree of technical discussion do you expect to see or find useful?
actually, I can take that question. You should prepare your statement of interest with a multidisciplinary audience in mind. So not a lot of technical communication. It should be something that someone could readily understand, somebody could readily understand. And so not particularly targeted to a specific audience. Does that answer your question? Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Ochsendorf. I don't know if I said that right.
Yes, yeah. So my name is Uking. I'm from the linguistics department. I'm in my second year master's program. So technically I should be finishing my coursework in spring. Then my thesis will extend till August or September. So I was just wondering, am I still eligible? And I think like many of the questions I had already been answered, because my work is basically focused on civic education. So I think like that's also like could be the application, like that's also like allowed to be part of the design as well. I think my question was basically the first part, because I will be graduating. Yeah,
because the fellowship year is really next academic year for September 1st, and unless you're admitted into a degree program and you're in a continuing program for next academic year, it wouldn't be as relevant. So we wouldn't start fellowship payments before September.
Okay. So if I apply for my PhD program, so like that will be counted as part of the fellowship if I will be receiving the fellowship, let's say like.
Potentially, but we are anticipating the most competitive candidates are already in a degree program and not trying to get into a degree program. And so so I'm sorry about that, but it's just an issue of timing. And so you can work with your nominator on that and you can try to make the case, but we would expect you to be admitted into a degree program at MIT for next year, which is who the primary audience is.
I would add that, if you are successful in terms of becoming a PhD student, you can apply the next year. And
exactly.
You'll be more competitive then.
Yeah, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Please, Diego.
Hello. I have a question with regards to relevance of applications. So is it also relevant, perhaps reflecting if it's a project reflecting on what's like design as a field has done historically? And I'm from the history and anthropology and STS program. So if that's relevant to what are you searching?
I'll just quickly say, definitely, we've been hoping to get more applicants from that program. And if there's a critical or historical angle on design, we would certainly welcome that.
Karen?
Hey, yeah, so I was reading through the MAD website, and I saw that there were kind of two things that we needed to address in our statement of interest. Would it be preferable to explicitly split those two topics up, or can they kind of mesh together as long as, approximately one page addresses A and approximately one page addresses B, and as long as both of those are addressed?
I think as long as both are addressed effectively and you stay within the 2-page limit, that you should be fine.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Okay. Jack?
Yes, I have two questions. One will be very easy and quick to answer. The other one will be maybe a little bit more difficult. And I apologize if this was something that was answered earlier, but in the description, it says that there's a one-page CV needed. I just wanted to double check because normally I hear CV being used for like a long continuous document, and resume is the one page. So which is it a one resume?
So it's one page, and it's funny because in my comments I said CV or resume because yes, you are correct. Usually one page is for a resume, but it's whatever you do, it's one page.
Okay, great. And then thank you. The second question is just I heard last year you had like an overwhelming number of like really great candidates, and it like got down to a number where it was like very difficult to sub-select from that like finalist field. Was there any overlying thing in common that the people sub-selected all had in common that kind of made them be more competitive for the fellowship?
That's a great question.
It's a great question. I will say that it's very hard because all the top candidates it's just like any selection process where people are really talented and very accomplished, which is the case, and it was the case last year, and I think will be the case. So there's not like sort of a special thing that makes people distinguished, I would say. I don't know, John, if you or Marion, if your thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, I would add kind of what we were emphasizing before, the ability to speak outside your discipline, the ability to demonstrate potential impact and, give new perspectives on design. So we are looking for different voices from across the broad expanse of MIT. And so, make yourself stand out with the uniqueness of your research, your approach to the world, and what role design plays in that. I would say all of our top candidates have that in common.
We have a question from Jin Gao in the chat asking, how do you define senior members of the MIT community who could serve as nominators?
Oh, I was just answering that question. It can be a senior lecturer in addition to a tenure track faculty member. So usually assistant professor, associate professor, full professor, those are the faculty members who would provide a nomination, but there are also lecturers and senior lecturers who can also provide nominations as well.
But in the strict terminology, a ladder faculty member who's assistant, associate, or full professor can carry a little bit more weight. And also, we are, particularly for tenure track or junior faculty members who are trying to build traction and get going at MIT, there's a bit of a positive thing to support those more junior members. The people who've been here for 30 years, they kind of know how to navigate the place. So, it's really up to you and who can best put you forward as a nominee for the fellowship. So there isn't one best answer, but that gives you a little bit of flavor.
And would you have any comment about how research scientists fit into the mix?
Yeah, I think, find the best nominator you can for yourself. I should also say I'm chair of I'm marshal for commencement at faculty. So who are the faculty that sits on stage? What is a faculty member? And we tend to have a pretty broad umbrella that, most folks in the senior ranks, lecturers, research scientists can also march and be included in that faculty cohort. So, so find the best person you can to nominate you, but do know that ladder faculty, associate, assistant, or full professor do tend to carry a bit more weight.
Holly? Holly Mears, you have your hand up.
Yes. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us all today. Holly Mears from the Sloan School of Management. Fitting for the follow-up on faculty nominations, I was curious if you could speak a little bit more about, if you are awarded the fellowship, what your relationship would look like with your faculty nominator throughout your fellowship year.
I think ideally your faculty nominator is also a mentor. So it is someone who knows your work well and can continue to be someone with whom you're working to explore whatever topic you are pursuing as a student. from a more practical perspective, they're also the person who is the administrator of the scholarly allowance. So they help to set up the account in which the $5,000 will be deposited. So again, they will be working with you to make some to collaborate about which papers you should submit or which conferences seem reasonable. But that's a relationship that hopefully is existing and is improving over the life of the fellowship.
I will add that we have a lot of diversity across MIT in terms of the faculty, advisor student relationship, and in particular in the professional degree programs like the MBA or the MArch program in architecture. It's not quite the same model as, say, in a research lab where you are working more closely with a professor on your PhD. So we've had successful candidates from Sloan be nominated by someone from another school or department who they took a class with and had an idea to build out the class project. So it'll vary case by case, but those are a few examples.
Great. Thank you so much.
All right. Thanks.
Shivam?
Hi, my question is, given that the design is being defined in a broad term, can you give some examples of what you would not consider as a design project? I mean, given every engineering project is some design to person who's doing it.
That's a good question. I can share, and others may have other examples, but one example I would give is if there's no human user anywhere within sight of the work, it's a little bit harder for us to see how that could impact people's lives, right? So if it's a more abstract algorithm or a theoretical framework that someday is going to benefit people, but they're very far removed from the work that you're doing, it's a little bit harder for us to say, yeah, that's a compelling design problem. So we definitely like the notion that your work is close to people and to having societal impact. So that's one example of something that's not design, an algorithm that's very far removed from human users, for example. Anyone else want to tackle? Yeah, or you want to cross-examine? Go ahead.
No, so in the human usability aspect, is there a time frame? For example, it can be usable in 1 year or 3 years, 5 years?
No, not necessarily. I mean, there could be fundamental research that you're doing that has the potential to have impact and breakthroughs down the line. But if it's seen as serving people, then that's important for us. And of course, it's up to you to make the case in the fellowship application. So,
got it. Thank you.
Maria or Marion, do you want to? It's a good question. What is not design?
I think you captured it pretty well.
Rebecca?
Hi there. Thanks so much for your time. A question on if there are any requirements or criteria that you all have set out for the fellows that they need to sort of meet or maintain to be in good standing with the fellowship.
So we have weekly MAD fellow lunches that with time to be decided, sort of at a mutual agreeable time. So you are sort of highly encouraged, if not required, to participate in those every week. And then we have a number of events that sort of occur intermittently throughout the year that are sort of MAD events that we really encourage you to participate or require. It depends. I don't know if you want to add Marion or John to those.
I have nothing to add. No.
So, and the goal here is for you to be part of a community. Like you're going to be part of a cohort and of people who are sort of MAD design enabled. So it's really important for you to engage in that.
And we want you to learn from each other, but it's hard for us to imagine a scenario where after 3 months or 6 months we say, oh, you're not MAD enough, we're taking the money away. It's really meant as a gift to empower a small group of students to do the work that they want to do without financial concerns. Well, let's say fewer financial concerns.
Got it. Thank you so much.
Sure. Thanks, Rebecca. Karen.
Right, yeah. So are there any additional, I guess, formatting requirements for this statement? I didn't see any online, as long as it's not like, size 5 font and tiny margins, is it okay? Or are there like specific requirements we should follow?
No, they're just 2 pages, and I believe there's a size limitation that's indicated on the website. But you can, and as John mentioned, you can include a URL. Please do not include any attachments. But other than that, you have design freedom in how you submit your application.
All right, thank
I
you.
believe we're requiring a maximum of 10 megabytes PDF.
So in case you want to put a few images in your 2 pages, but we really, really are trying to keep them short. I know sometimes it's more work to write a short proposal, but just for everybody involved, we're trying to keep it short and concise.
All right, thank
Or
you.
images, you can also include a Dropbox link, by the way.
But if you have like a 60-page application that you expect the committee to go through, it's probably going to be hard for them. So we're not encouraging a link to a 60-page application. Try to say everything you need to say in 2 pages.
All right, thank you.
Ocean?
Yeah, hi, thanks again. For those fellows in the past that have been doing thesis work at the same time concurrently, what is the relationship between their thesis work and their fellowship work, if any?
So because it is a fellowship, there's no required work other than the weekly lunch seminar. But oftentimes the winning candidates do propose a project that is directly related to their thesis. It's not like a second side project so that you're working on. So we encourage you to try to make them one and the same.
Maybe just to add on to that is like the MBA programs don't have a thesis requirement. So those have tended to be kind of more personal project, not personal project, but design related projects that are not thesis related.
And
exactly.
I would add though that we mentioned Mariama earlier. Even though they don't have a thesis requirement, often the students that are in a professional degree program, they have a design background and they're coming back to graduate school in order to get skills and knowledge that will move that area of professional focus forward. So they can reference that in their application and can engage in ways from a personal passion project perspective, or even professionally that relate to that interest. Rustam?
Yeah, hi. I hope my question is not too broad, but given that the fellowship is sort of community-centered oriented, what have been the experiences of current fellows with the active participation of local community members? Given that this fellowship is oriented towards individuals, have certain fellows actively involved other members, whether it's Boston-based or like in their respective fieldwork sites, and how does that actually work out? Yeah.
Rustam, when you say community-centered, what do you mean exactly?
Say, for example, you have a design project and you would like to work with, say you work with, you would like to work with a women's rights organization to like design something specifically, and you would like to like actively work with them together, whether it's in terms of like working with their structure, within their structure, organizational structure, whether it's working, sharing funding, whether it's sort of like co-designing this thing. How do you sort of like walk the sort of like, the boundary there?
I mean, I can quickly say that a number of our fellows have had community partners for projects, and you can describe that in your application, but the fellowship, is held within inside MIT, and the resources flow to the fellowship recipient. So, that $5,000 discretionary or scholarly allowance you can use to buy materials, you can use to support a project, you can use to, have an event that involves community partners. But we expect that the primary engagements with the fellow, I will say we look positively upon someone who's engaging with the community partner and translating work from MIT out into the world. So that's certainly one of the goals of MAD. But I hope that helps you just situate a little bit where the resources are, for the community partner, that would really come under that scholarly allowance. Is that clear? Does it answer the question?
Yeah, certainly. Thank you so much.
Sure thing. So it looks like we're maybe winding down a little bit, but we have recorded this. We're happy to share it with others, and feel free to reach out and email us with other questions. And we hope all of you will apply and spread the word to others. And hopefully this has been useful to you. Any final thoughts from anyone else on the MAD team, or any last chance for questions? Ocean's got one more.
Thanks. Sorry, I was just wondering how many people applied last year.
Oh, I can't
And how many
remember
you
the number.
expect?
It's around on the order of 80. So across all of MIT. So, you know, to get from 80 down to about 10, it's pretty competitive, but you know, you're in with a chance.
Thank you.
Any last thoughts from my MAD colleagues?
Well, I hope all of you will apply, just to echo what John has said. And it's a remarkable community. There is a lot of there's a wide range of interests and areas of professional pursuit. I think just being a part of the community is stimulating in and of itself. And we in our weekly seminar, we really work to bring in voices that we think will be enhancing and generative for the fellows. So not only do we offer financial support, but we also try to offer a stimulating and enhancing community. So I hope all of you will apply, and I wish all of you the best of luck in your application. And please do not hesitate to ask any questions that may occur to you after this has been completed.
Maria will give you the final word.
Oh yeah, no, thank you all for coming. It's great to meet you, and these are great questions. We really appreciate them. And I think we'll be posting the recording up on the Matt, so that if you want to sort of review things, that's great. So yes, thank you.
Okay, good luck, everyone. Nice to see you all.